homeless people here and people in houses are exactly that. That's nationwide. And if you're not on street drugs, you're on farmies. And if you're not on either one, you're probably drunk. You don't want anybody to pass judgment on you, but you want to pass judgment on others. You don't want people to know that you sin, that you're not perfect. But then you're out there blatantly not being perfect. Why would you want to hide something that you're doing so blatant? People like Jennifer, obviously, she did do a lot of work back there. Those of you who have followed my channel, probably none of you, but those of you who followed my channel when I first got here to Tillamook, you got to see the mess over there by the railroad tracks. You also got to see what it looked like after Jennifer went back there and cleaned it up. Then the cops went back there and ran her off as if she's the one that made the big old messes back there that she had just cleaned up. And then, of course, Ashley Farnsworth knows who it is that lit the fire back there. And why. All this stuff's on my channel. The thing is that it's a matter of being able to sit down with everything, including my computer, because a lot of this stuff that I'm expected to do, I can't do without my computer. I can't do without being able to carry my computer in there and set it up. But I don't have anyone to carry it in there for me. When I had my own place, finally, after Natalie's death, I didn't have any help. When I had the place in Sydney after Natalie's death, I couldn't pay for the help that I didn't get. I couldn't keep running to all these places to not get help. It eats up all of our money. It's immoral and illegal, and nobody cares. Meanwhile, Jennifer, obviously, she is too out there to be able to help herself, let alone anybody else. And what does she do? She talks about violence. All of you talk about violence. You're allowed to get frustrated. I'm not. You're allowed to talk about killing people, threaten to kill people. You're allowed to do those things, and it's fine. No, it's not fine. It's not okay. Then I'm told because people are crazy that it's okay, I should just let them go. No! You don't understand the difference between somebody who believes in fairies, rainbows, and unicorns. Well, we all know that rainbows exist. Does that mean that fairies and unicorns exist? No, it doesn't. If somebody tells you they saw a real life, honest to goodness unicorn, you're probably going to look at them like they're crazy. If someone tells you that there's a little fairy village in their backyard, you probably look at them like they're crazy. Or you'll assume that they have, well, the equivalent of garden gnomes, except the fairy version. Now, if these people out here on the streets, being the ones that I'm forced to go to, that's not peer support. Those are druggies. They don't know the first thing about it. Most of their memories are completely shot. Some of it from abuse, but a lot of it from drug use. And that's how they cope with things out here, is through drug use. The thing that sucks about that is that I'm not out here using drugs, but I still get treated as if I'm some sort of a drug user. And then I'm sent to drug users for help by the professionals that I'm supposed to go to. It doesn't matter if it's your personal time or not. If you're a mandated reporter, you've got a job to do. A mandated reporter pawning off somebody who is not a druggie onto people who are obviously on drugs and believing that that homeless person who already has experience with those exact people not showing up, like Brian, for example, yeah, Brian is probably not going to show up. If he does, it's probably because he wants a cigarette. And it's not appropriate for mandated reporters to be pawning us off on others. Also, when they choose to lie to us instead of doing their jobs as mandated reporters. Well, then it starts in on a little charge called conspiracy, which many of y'all don't want to hear. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? When you think conspiracy, you think to yourself, oh, you mean like aliens and Roswell and things like that. No, 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 no. Conspiracy is an actual charge. Like conspiracy to commit murder, conspiracy to commit fraud. The fact that you conspired together to do so. Now, once you have actually completed the act, that doesn't just show conspiracy. It shows that you took an active role. And every one of these mandated reporters in this town have taken an active role in protecting the other mandated reporters in this town. Up to and including by sending me to a bunch of people who have severe mental issues and aren't able to take care of themselves. And this is who I am sent to for help. I'm sent to people whose only understanding of the system is how to get railroaded and how to talk over the other victims. Well, that's not help. When you believe whatever you're told, you're not helpful to anyone. If you're going to believe whatever the cops tell you, knowing that they commit felonies every single day, you're kind of dumb. There's also a lot of people out here that are not kind of dumb. They're just severely mental from long-term abuse, including injections of Haldol, which, if you don't know what that means, maybe you should look it up. Maybe you should look at some of the side effects of those things, including schizophrenia. That's right. Taking Haldol can make you schizophrenic. How many officers have taken somebody to the hospital, claimed that they're schizophrenic, had them injected with Haldol, and then went, oh, well, see, they're schizophrenic. Oh, we don't play that. Anyway, I'm trying to dig through my car for stuff that might be useful. Like getting rid of the garbage. Jennifer. She's not somebody that I should have to go to for help, but she's also got experience out here. She's also got the experience of she does come across as completely nuts. She's only partially nuts. And that's what happens from long-term abuse out here. Men and women endure this. Men are not likely to get help. Women are. You will throw away a man who is completely sane. No, you won't. There's no such thing as a completely sane human being. You throw people away based on your insanity. And your opinions matter more than the victim. Then the victim doesn't matter to you. That's what that shows. That's what that states. When you haven't heard anything that the victim has had to say for literally years, because you're too busy talking about yourself. And then you want to tell the victim that it's your turn to talk. No, it's always your turn to talk when it's a male victim, isn't it? It's always your turn to talk. Men should not be allowed to speak. Isn't that correct? Because that's what you're pushing. That's what you're teaching, and that's what you're showing. And that is why men commit suicide at 5 times the rate of women. There's also the fact that when you push a man to suicide, he's not allowed to say it, or you throw him away. That right there is a dead giveaway for the shitty people that we have to deal with as human beings, as men. Being disabled on top of it just makes it so much easier. But then, of course, when you victimize me for being disabled, and then you say I can't be disabled because I'm a man, or I deserve that abuse because I'm a man, why don't you stop? Why don't you stop doing that? Why don't you stop insisting that I go to drug addicts like Brian? or any other drug addict here for that matter. Why are you sending me to drug addicts to do the jobs of mandated reporters? Why are mandated reporters sending me to drug addicts to do their jobs? Over and over again. Jennifer means well, but she also definitely has her own emotions that definitely get in the way. We're both stuck out here on the streets. We're both stuck being abused by the same people. Primarily the United States government. But she was going off on some tangents about some stuff that, really? That's what you're going to go off about? The drugging of the homeless people got out of hand in the 1940s. And that's been your solution ever since. When it comes to holistic medicine, yeah, I don't believe in that so much either. There's a reason for that. There's some stuff that, yeah, it's got health benefits, sure. But we also get to see how, well, Chinese medicine, for example, isn't that what we call it? When they want tiger parts and pieces because it's supposed to be good for their health. So I get overwhelmed out here. Overwhelmed by the fact the cops treat us all like survival. Well, go to the people who are to help. It's that they had so much disrespect for me that they couldn't even listen to the words coming out of my face. Didn't matter if I said it. What mattered is whether or not they wanted to hear it. And that's why there's a lot of evidence of them committing crimes. When a male is being victimized and you make him jump through all of this to try to turn it in, you are sick. And making somebody go to schizophrenics and drug users because mandated reporters don't want to do their jobs, that is sick as well. Obviously, Jennifer didn't mean anything personal. She wasn't trying to be hateful, but she definitely come across as angry, didn't she? And of course, she was also info dumping. There's also a lot of the stuff that she said that I have no clue about, and there's some of it that, yeah, it does come across as outright delusional, and very well may be. Jennifer is consistently crazy. How about before you start trying to shove 1,000,001 ideas at me based on your ignorance, how about you find out what I'm capable of doing to begin with? Wouldn't that be a good start? Of course it would. That's not help. If a woman pretends that a man might hurt her, you'll destroy his life, okay, but it is reality. People want to tell me how lucky I am that I'm forced into a position where I have to beg for my existence. And why? Because I don't have the money for property. People knew they didn't have to pay me a decent wage or a living wage, so they didn't. You make outrageous claims like we all have equal rights. No, we don't. A pretty white girl could have you put in prison for the rest of your life for something that literally never happened. You'll help her to gaslight the hell out of a man, destroy his life, destroy his reputation. And it's magically fine. It's a woman's prerogative, right? Isn't that what I keep hearing? I've also noticed that there's a lot of women pretending to be autistic now that it's popular. Imagine that. Why would autism be popular among women? Because something that they can manipulate one way and not another. Or so they think. There's a few women now who got an autism diagnosis and really wish that they hadn't. Because now they're treated like they're schizophrenic. I told you so. You got all messed up on drugs. And then, of course, you thought being autistic was going to make it so somebody was going to step in and put a stop to it. But no, now that you're autistic, people treat you like you made up being beaten up and being raped and all this other stuff. And then looking back on it, I'm going, yeah. You were pretending to be autistic. You were pretending to have Asperger's. But you're really, truly, and disgustingly a narcissist. Ew. Anyway, gotta go upstairs and get my stuff out of the library. I believe they close at 4. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to carry my computer in there, and you guys just, oh, why don't you go to the library? Why don't you go to the library? Why don't you go to the library? How about you pay attention to the words coming out of my mouth? Every time I tell you about my disabilities, about my back problems, about me having to go through that, even when I post that evidence up for God and everybody to see, you just overlook it and make the same drugged out friggin' suggestions that you made before. I have had homeless junkies out here swear up and down that they knew what the law was, spouting at me the things that the cops had told them. I'm like, hey, we could look it up right now. I could show it to you right now. We can find out what the laws actually are. If you look it up, you can hold that. No, but it was from the police officer. Yeah, exactly the point. Wasn't you just telling me 30 seconds ago police officers are liars? Yeah, but that's all, folks. Things about people wanting to pretend like they're good folks. But then, of course, they'll play word games to try to get their way out of it. Oh, yeah, I'm a good person. I'm just going to play head games and twist words into something they ain't. And I didn't have to do that. My predators, after being exposed in their full magnanimous glory, wanted to play victim because they were pissed off I told the truth. The problem is that they have rights and I don't, because you don't care. A lot of people's excuses for looking away. You know what? They're just excuses because they never came forward with them. When you're going to tell me one thing to begin with and then tell me another after I've exposed you on the internet saying those things, it's pretty obvious you are up to no good. Pretty obvious that between me being an actual friend and me being somebody that you just tolerate, you really shouldn't have pretended to be my friend. Sir, would you be willing to sell a cigarette?
Oh, it's my last one.
That's alright, I won't hate you for it, I'm too lazy. That does want me a cigarette though. The thing is, people had already decided on my guilt, and you can see that through their actions, through all of it. They didn't want to look at evidence. They wanted to tell me they believed me, but never speak up. Wanted to claim that they would speak up, but again, never speak up. If you're that kind of friend, you're not a friend. If you're the kind of friend that looks away because it's not happening to you, and then it happens to you, well, isn't that karma? I give you a tiny taste of what I have to go through. And guess what? Your advice goes right out the window. It's magically wrong for me to do it back. It's magically wrong for me to speak up. It's magically wrong for me to go to the police. I guarantee you, if I do that to you, you'll go to the police. I guarantee you, if I treat you the way that my predators have treated me, you'll go to the police. I also guarantee you, when your loved ones die, after the stabbing that you give my back, I'm going to throw it in your face about your dead loved ones. Because that's what you've done to me. You want to tell me karma's going to get them? Yeah, that's what happens when you're a lazy and complacent individual. You want to talk about karma. Well, because you wanted to look the other way, karma got your family. Karma did it. It was karma for you looking away. Those of you who wanted to get a hold of me because you're obsessed with this web sleuth nut job crap, that's on you. That's your obsession. Well, my friends and family didn't care, and you can see in our conversations, not only did they not care, they did everything they could to look the other way and make every excuse and create an unsafe situation. And the people here in Tillamook ain't much better. See, when they want to tell you what to do, they don't recognize that that is exactly why at-risk adults are at risk. You tell them what to do. You boss them around. If it doesn't end up the way that you wanted it to, then you bully them. You tell them that it's their fault that it didn't work out, that they have to do it themselves. And again and again and again, you make them go in by themselves to try to get help. And then you say, oh, well, I don't understand why you need help. Yes, you do. Oh, noise. Not every day I found a winner like that. I have to sit down now. Christ. There is no place to sit down. See, it used to be nice back in the 1950s, right? You could have park benches and you could use them. But now, homeless people might use them for sleeping on so they don't freeze to death on the cement. So you have to get rid of them. Americans are cruel people to the homeless. Even those who try to be nice, they come out and give us sandwiches once in a while. That doesn't fix the problem. The problem is that you aren't doing anything about the laws or the misuse of those laws, the misuse of power. You're not taking a look at any of these churches or the abuse that we endure at the hands of those churches. You're definitely not looking at the police and how we're treated at the hands of the police. When it comes to abuse out here, it is pretty universal, but there are always going to be people that luck out. There's also going to be people who don't have such good luck. Whether or not they have any luck, how much they're willing to let somebody manipulate you. Isn't that what it come down to? Isn't that what you call it when I ask for help? Manipulating? Oh, I'm a dick. I admit it first and foremost. I admitted it before anybody else did. Goddamn right, I am definitely not a nice person when it comes to people molesting kids, taking advantage of at-risk adults. Rape is something that I am for surely against. This country is disgusting. And I'm ashamed of everyone in it. There's lots of nice people, and I do nice things for people too, don't I? Now, when somebody needs help, you might want to say over and over and over again, oh, well, I can't give you a room, I can't give you a room. I have to give you a room. I'm asking you. I'm asking you to listen, to understand. How can you speak for me or with me when you won't listen to me, so you know nothing? You can't speak for me. You can only speak at me. And that is very sad. And the fact that we've taught women, oh, nice. Elks, DAP, elect to be drug-free. Are y'all the Elks? I got some of your ribbons here. Drugs are not very good.
Yeah.
Especially not Haldol. Now Jennifer exhibits, that's classic Haldol. That's what it comes across as. When you put Haldol and Ativan together, it has chances, well, very good chances of making you act schizophrenic, not be able to speak, not be able to enunciate your words. But also, stress can do that. Having a bunch of people threaten to kill you and your friends and family can do that. Then, of course, you guys want to tell me how to think and how to feel. You're not willing to look at what's been going on. You want to play like nobody would ever in a million years, ever be mean to a disabled person. That nobody in a million years would ever come after me about what's on the internet. Nobody would ever harm me in real life. Or that magically, if I don't get on the internet and don't get on the phone, then all of my problems are fixed. No, it doesn't work that way. The first things that my predators had to do was socially isolate me and destroy my name. The United States is a disgusting place. And I have more respect for every school shooter than I have for any police officer. You know why that is? Because that school shooter doesn't walk in there thinking he's going to get away. The police don't operate any differently, except they only focus on public opinion. Yeah, people are going to frown on it if you shoot kids or women, but you shoot men all day long, can't you? 96% of those killed by police are men. That doesn't denote that men are more violent. What that denotes is that there is a bias against men. And that's because the assumption that men are more violent. We've also gotten to see real recently how many women are physically mean to men. And they try to do the public shaming thing. And it works, doesn't it? Well, guess what? There's a lot of men starting to shame you filthy beasts back. Those of you who want to act like that and be that way, you make it worse for all the victims, male and female. And it's disgusting. Here in Tillamook, there's lots of nice people. Nice does not mean good, though. Like, let's say, oh, sure, it's wrong. It's wrong to sell slaves at church. But, you know, the church is selling slaves, so it must be okay. It's wrong to gamble at church. But you know, if they have gambling people to me, right? Oh, I didn't make those people set up the gambling tables, but you took part now, didn't you, son? And then when Jesus come in and flipped over your gambling table, say that today, though. How dare you say Jesus chased somebody with a whip? If you say that, then it must mean that you're a terrible racist who's out hating on black people. Really? Wasn't Jesus black? Is that what we keep getting shoved at us? Who cares what color Jesus was? What's more important, the color of his skin or what he did? What's more important to you? How he treated other human beings or the magic tricks that he did? I don't care about the magic tricks. I'm not going to pretend that any of that's miracles. Here's the problem that I have with mass hallucinations. They're not real. Christians don't actually believe in this mass hallucination Jesus. Muslims don't actually believe in this mass hallucination Muhammad. None of these religious peoples have these mass hallucinations. They're mass pretenders. That's not all right. Maybe there's a good Christian. Just haven't found him yet. This world is disgusting, and so are all of you. The world changes when you make it change. When all you do is make excuses. Oh, you can't change the whole world, Sean. You're literally ignoring everything that I'm saying so that you can make a generalized excuse for laziness. None of you are good people. You know how to argue on Facebook, and that's all. You've forgotten how to treat other people like people. But you want to be treated like a people. No, you're filthy, filthy, disgusting animals.